Welcome to the 9th Asia Korea Conference on Science and Technology, Global Sustainability by Science and Technology Innovation. Today, I want to talk about blockchain and its applications. My name is Jaywon Lee. Today is October 28th, 2021. A little bit about myself. I've been a professor of accounting since 2005. I worked for Wall Street. I've been studying blockchain for many years now. A co-author of a best-selling IT book in Korea, a path to becoming a blockchain company, and been a consultant to many blockchain projects. And I also teach, and I've taught at many universities, including Columbia, CUNY, KAIST, and NTU, 2013, 2014, and at Sejong and Soulbridge. So let's go into blockchain. So blockchain is one of the disruptive innovations that appeared in 2021 together with AI technology, cloud, data management, energy storage system, genomics, and robotics. We've heard these key words for many years, but not until 2020 and 2021 did business really use them in their application because it really helped them do business or save costs. We have to go back way to 1900 to see many disruptive innovation coming in at all at once. So for the past 120 years, the only disruptive technology that we've experienced are only three, which is computers, mobile technology, and the internet. So it wasn't until 1900s, the airplane, the automobile, camera, electricity, and factory mass production, and the telephone. We are living in a very disruptive environment. And blockchain is one of them. If you go back to looking at iPhone, and many people said that smartphone was a game changer, but it takes a long time for that to be realized. And it takes an even longer time for the investor to realize this. If you go back, if some of you know, the first iPhone came about in June 2007. So this was a very long time. And at that time, you can see that Apple's stock price was only $4.39. If you really thought, or if you experienced that iPhone was a real game changer, then a person would have naturally bought the iPhone stock or Apple stock. If you had bought Apple stock back in June 2007 and kept it until now, you've gotten 32 times your money in 14 years, right? So there are many skeptics out there thinking that technology doesn't evolve and technology isn't realized to capitalism, but this is one example. Blockchain. What is blockchain? Blockchain is a database that is decentralized. It's embedded in the distributed ledger technology, meaning long time ago or now, a lot of the database is centralized. For instance, if you're using a bank, your bank has all of the users' database. If the bank's database is hacked, then your data is hacked. Whereas with distributed ledger technology, the database exists everywhere. So this is less vulnerable to hacking because if you happen to hack this, we still have the other three databases, and every user or every node is a database. Therefore, these data is more safe. So I would view in a very simplistic way, if you wanted to express what blockchain is, I would call it a database that you cannot change. So, a lot of the companies use AWS, the Amazon Web Services, and they're also a database. Only thing that's different from AWS and a blockchain is that if you are the technology manager for AWS, you can change the old data while blockchain cannot be changed because blockchain is written above another blockchain and it's kept with everybody, so it cannot change the past. So if that particular method of storing data is of any use, then it must have some economic value. If you look at the top US market cap firms, we usually call them the FANG group, right? The Facebook, the Amazon, Apple, Netflix, NVIDIA, and Google, and Tesla. You can see that 90% of their value comes from data. So data is very important and data is very expensive and data has value. A lot of people say that Bitcoin doesn't have intrinsic value, but you must know if you want to mine one Bitcoin, it is very difficult to mine, and it's going to get more difficult until 2040, until the last Bitcoin gets mined. Currently, approximately, you have to use about $15,000 of computing power and electricity to mine one Bitcoin. If this was a NASDAQ firm, if Bitcoin was a NASDAQ firm, Bitcoin should be worth for every share $150,000. Comparing this to other comparable IT companies that has data in Wall Street. So is data a game changer? AWS was launched in 2006. If you go back in time, in 2006, Amazon stock was only $42. How much is it now? It's more than $3,000. And this is because not only are they an online e-commerce company, but Amazon has transformed themselves into a database company. Therefore, if you known that data is a game changer, you've gotten 76 times your money in 15 years. Is it too late to buy Amazon stock right now? Many people say no, you should still buy Amazon stocks. I mean, this lecture is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You should do your own research. This is my personal opinion. Every time I talk about Bitcoin and stocks, it is my personal opinion. So why is blockchain useful? Blockchain is useful because it is a time-stamped database and is recorded on the block. Therefore, because it has a timestamp, every line of data has a different hash, and it is linked to the next hash. So the next hash, the next block, records the previous hash address, and it has its own unique, distinctive hash. And that hash is linked to the next block that records the previous hash. So even if you were successful in hacking block one, if you change the data, the timestamp will change, the hash value will change. Therefore, this data will go out of the database and no longer be valid. So it is no use to hack a block because it will have a different timestamp and a different hash. So the only way to hack the Bitcoin blockchain is you get a quantum computer to compute all of the hashes and all of the values. If you can do that for the more than 51% of the data, then you can hack it. Experts say that this will not happen in the near future, but it may happen in the future if quantum computers advance and really come into play. Many people say maybe in 30 years. This is an example of how Bitcoin, the, the the largest cryptocurrency that there is, how is recorded on the network. So every transaction in cryptocurrency is broadcasted onto the P2P network. So if you know my address, and by the way, this is not my address. This is a rich person's address that has 10,000 Bitcoins. So this guy has 10,000 Bitcoins, and you can see how much that is right now because every Bitcoin is worth about 60K. So 60K times 10,000, you can do the math, right? So if you know this address, you can see where this person seems like a miner. So this person is getting Bitcoin, is receiving Bitcoin from the network because it's mining. So all the transactions are very transparent. If you know the person's address or the organization's address, you can know where their Bitcoin is coming from. This is an example of a POS. Let's say that Alice has $20 or 20 coins and Bob has 5 coins. And Alice wants to send 10 coins to Bob. And this is what would happen if you are a miner or if you're a verifying person. So in step 1, Alice would go to a computer. She would go to a P2P network and announce that I want to send 10 coins to Bob. So she would announce that she has intentions to do this. When all of the node is notified, that's when verifications start. And you can kind of think of a node as a computer, right? Any computer that can do the computation of doing verification. If that happens, the network designates a person or designates a computer. In this case, I'm giving you an example of how Tezos works, and Tezos designates a node, a computer, and tells that, oh, the block creator, you're the block creator, you're the verifier. Why don't you do the verification if the transaction's valid? And put into most easy word, the verification will start to see if Alice really does have enough coins to send to Bob. So the transactions will confirm, where did Alice get her 20 coins or $20? You go back in time. If Alice received the $20 from somebody, then it's verified she has enough money and we will send it to Bob. And that block creator will begin to notify that this transaction is valid. When all of the nodes are notified and updated, the new information that Alice has 10 coins and Bob has 15 coins, as all of them is notified, and you can see that all of the distributed, decentralized database is updated. And this time, this person was a verifier or the miner, and next time, the system or the network can designate other person to be a miner. The Bitcoin is kind of different. It's a POW. So the machine that has the most efficient or the most highest computing power usually gets the mining opportunity. So let's go into how business is doing. You can see, a lot of people say that, hey, nobody's using Bitcoin. I haven't seen large companies use Bitcoin. But you are wrong, because 81 out of 100 global top 100 firms now use blockchain or is in some stages of applying Bitcoin to their business. For instance, 16 out of 100 top global firms are researching blockchain. 14 already has a pilot and they're testing it. 24 firms are in development of blockchain technology, and 27 firms already are in production of blockchain technology. So, what kind of blockchain technology do they use? The most widely used one is the Hyperledger by IBM. So most companies use Hyperledger. The next popular one is Ethereum, obviously. Ethereum is very different from Bitcoin because Ethereum has smart contracts. Right? Smart contracts is another fancy way of putting, you can send cryptocurrency, but you can add a condition to it. So if you give me this, or if you do this, or if this A condition is met, then B will be done, right? So if you send me something, I can send you my Ethereums. So that is a very big thing. So, Ethereum is a very popular cryptocurrency uh, next to Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin doesn't have smart contract, Ethereum does. Right? All of these other technology, large companies using Quorum, Corda, Xani, MediLedger. We can see that Bitcoin, some companies use Bitcoin like PayPal and Microsoft. Ant Chain is used by in China, and SAP has their own technology. So what applications, example of blockchain applications used in the real world? Smart contracts, we have digital currency, we have securities, record keeping. I think currently nowadays, although P2P lending and these microfinance and finance is coming up in value, but it's still quite smaller to what blockchain is used, right? I think blockchain is used in escrow nowadays a lot. Now we're slowly going into equity, slowly going into debt. I think blockchain has a lot to do with voting and title records, healthcare because of the privacy. So I don't see a lot of killer apps in blockchain right now because it's in development phase. So think back to the early days of the internet where there weren't a lot of big players and you did not use internet every day, right? It's not until a couple of years later that people started using the search engine Yahoo and started buying stuff from Amazon. Right? It took a long time. Governments should have good uses of blockchain. And I know Singapore is one of the countries that really pay attention to blockchain. The government's really fast. The central bank is testing the central bank distributed currency. Um, and a lot of the legal enforcement and titles, they can go on blockchain because blockchain is good in privacy and is good in security. Like I said, the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, um, experts predict that in 5 years, 60% of the developed nations' central bank will use CBDC. They will adopt blockchain for their sovereign currency. Currently, there is more than 40 projects ongoing. And this is going to create a major change where commercial banks' business model will really change. So we're going to look back into the telephone era, where the telephone lines were owned by the telephone companies and not anymore. So these telephone service providers really became service providers. Like they're trying to bring better service through services like Skype, um, other telephone related, other LAN related services. And telephone companies do not own the telephone lines or my number anymore. They provide now mobile communication service. Same thing will happen to banks. Banks own the money telephone lines. But soon they will give that up. The government might provide every bank account to every citizen. But in terms of banks, they will slowly turn to being service providers. The benefits of CBDC is there. That's why the governments want it. Governments want traceability of all currency exchanges, ease of issuing and maintaining stability, prevention of theft, and taxation and fighting tax evasion is very strong because you can keep track of all the transactions that's happening. Only thing that's a problem is privacy, where if you know my address or bank account number, you can see everything that's going on. So most likely CBDC will become a private chain where the maintainer must give permission to access certain type of data. Cryptocurrencies, blockchain containing cryptocurrency assets. If you do a survey, a lot of people still don't understand the difference between blockchain and crypto. What is the difference? Blockchain is technology, crypto is money. We talked about blockchain being a database, and if that database has a number of coins, number of balance of the coins in it, then it's a crypto asset, because that crypto asset only has one data, which is your balance of how many coins you have. But you can have a blockchain that's not a coin, where you could just store medical information on the blockchain. So that would just be a database without any money balance, and that would be blockchain. The survey asked, do you own crypto? If no, would you be interested in owning crypto in the future? And still, majority of people not interested. So there is still opportunity to get in because not many people still like it. Should you buy Bitcoin? What should cryptocurrency be classified as? Many people think transaction medium, but personally, I don't think Bitcoin will be a transaction medium. I don't think I will use Bitcoin to go to Starbucks and buy coffee, but I believe that Bitcoin will be a store of value. It will be like digital gold. The survey also asked, what cryptocurrency do you own? And obviously, Bitcoin is the most popular one. The next in line is Ethereum, and Ripple is very popular. Litecoin, BAT, and other. So Bitcoin is quite expensive right now. Today, as of October 21, it's around 60K, $60,000. There is a solution, a formula for Bitcoin valuation. For every 10%, Bitcoin steals from the gold market cap. Bitcoin is 48K. So if Bitcoin steals 10% from gold, Bitcoin should be worth 48K. Currently, I guess Bitcoin is projected to own about 12.5% of gold because Bitcoin is worth 60K. I believe that Bitcoin will replace around, I think, 40% of digital gold, of gold. So that will put Bitcoin at around, I guess 200K, I guess, about 200K in about 10 years, right? So it's not big money, right? Because it's already 60K, right? So 200K is only 3 times your money in 10 years. So the good days are kind of already gone, and we might as well buy other more innovative stocks than cryptocurrency. Why are we so late, and why did we take so long to have the value up? Because it takes about 10 years to understand technology. The younger generation understands technology, but they do not invest. The older generation invests, but they do not understand technology. That's why there's a lag between disruptive technology and market capital, right? The generation X, when they were young, When I was young, I was introduced to technologies like email, e-commerce, cellular phones, mobile, text messaging, search engines. These were very disruptive, but I didn't tell my dad to buy these stocks. If he would have bought the stocks, he would have made a lot of money. And I did not buy stocks because, when I was in college, I would use these services and technology, but I did not invest. Right. Same things happening right now. These disruptive technologies like Facebook, Uber, Airbnb, Instagram, uh, Bitcoin, blockchain, EV, electric cars, online dating. These are very disruptive and probably will stay that way and probably really increase in value in the future. Millennials. Why do a lot of people believe in Bitcoin? Because millennials don't like banks. Facebook has done the survey and they found out that 92% of millennials don't trust banks. That is why Facebook came with their own blockchain. Right? Personally, I think the government has nothing to hate Facebook's cryptocurrency because it doesn't really threaten the US dollar. It actually helps the US dollar and it actually helps the US becoming dominant in the blockchain space. I think it is here to stay. Besides, there are many millennials in the US. In Korea, there are not that many millennials in terms of population number, but in the US, the millennials are the largest population cohort. They comprise of 96 million and their average age is about 29. So when they are in their core economic money-making age in about, say, 35, they will start to buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Currently, nowadays, DeFi and NFT is really hot. DeFi stands for decentralized finance. Most dominantly, DeFi mostly is currently decentralized exchanges, something like Uniswap, where one coin can be swapped into another coin. Coin one can be swapped into coin two, and there's no need for an exchange to exist. Exchanges that you may know, like Bitham, CoinOne, Upbid, or Coinbase, or Binance, or Huobi. We don't need that, right? If there's a decentralized exchange, you can just do a P2P exchange of whoever is willing to swap these assets. Another big thing happening is securitization of all illiquid assets, right? For instance, paintings, or for instance, hotels, or stocks like Tesla and Amazon, which is very big, and you cannot, dissect it and make it into smaller parts. So if you're using blockchain, since blockchain is cryptocurrency, you can securitize and make into a coin for all of the illiquid assets. So it can also be traded. Tokenized real estate, the same thing. I do not have enough money to buy a hotel building, but if somebody tokenizes a hotel building, I may buy a couple of tokens, because it will be cheap enough for me to buy. Same thing with art. If art is tokenized, not that you will dissect the art and make it into many pieces, but it will be very easy to trade art. A Mona Lisa painting, if it has a tokenized token on it, a non-fungible token to it, NFT, then it could be easily traded on the blockchain. Crypto collateralized loans are becoming big. Nowadays, if you don't have collateral, it's very hard to get a good loan from the bank, a low interest. But if you have Bitcoin or other type of cryptocurrencies, you can use that as a collateral and get a loan. So I've been giving a lot of talking about good things about blockchain, but there's a lot of bad things. The good things I've talked about is blockchain is very decentralized, so it's difficult to hack, easily accessible. It's immutable, meaning that it's difficult to manipulate, increases trust because you cannot tamper the data, you cannot tamper the past data, and you have easier transactions. But there's a lot of limitations of blockchain. There's a big regulatory uncertainty where the government can come in and stop any type of cryptocurrency by restricting the exchanges from a person cashing out their cryptocurrency. So there's big regulatory uncertainty. There's privacy concerns. If you know my uh, cryptocurrency address, then you know all my transactions because many of the cryptocurrency is a public blockchain. There's a big scalability difficulty, meaning that blockchain is very slow. It's very hard to scale up. Um, it's slow. Currently, the technology is not that high. So it doesn't make sense to have a blockchain database because it's cost about 3 times more than a regular database on AWS. There is integration difficulty, meaning that um, if you have an API, if you have a website, and you want to link that to the database, a blockchain database, and link it to a database that's not blockchain, the legacy link is very difficult at the current phase, and it's very slow. Lastly, but I think the most important one is although Bitcoin is a blockchain is a trust machine, the network itself has low trust, meaning that if I made a blockchain, just because the technology is trustworthy, you don't trust me. You don't trust me. And since you're not a computer science expert, you don't want to verify or audit what I'm doing, or you don't have the time to do it. You don't have the effort. You don't want to spend the effort to do it. So although Bitcoin is a trust machine, the provider of the Bitcoin services or provider of the blockchain services has to be trustworthy. So you will trust Facebook, but you won't trust me. So that's about it. It's a very short lecture on blockchain. If you have any questions or comments, please email me and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much and have a great time on the rest of the conference. Goodbye.